Apparently, we're having technology difficulties today. Welcome back to the Defluence Radio or Defluence Podcast. Almost at Defluence Radio. This is Uncle Bonehead. With us in spirit is Alan. He's having microphone issues. That's why we started late. But I've also got Nathan. Is it Sin or Sean? Nathan.
It's Sin.
Nathan Sin. Okay. From Dbuzz. And Chris is here also, apparently in spirit, because it's early for him over there, which is probably early for you too, ain't it, Nathan?
Yeah, it's 5:28 in the morning, so it's a good time.
Good deal. But what we're going to talk about is the Dbuzz proposal, which was what, 290 something? Yeah, 263. What
Hey,
is
can you hear me?
There you are. What's happening?
Can't hear you now.
Let me shut off my video. I switched to my phone.
Oh, cool. So you're on your phone now. Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know why my computer wasn't detecting my mic. That's weird. First time that's ever happened.
Is it Windows?
Yeah.
Well, there's half your problem.
Yeah.
It's a good place to start.
I'm sorry, I couldn't pass that up. So, like I said, we're going to talk about Dbuzz's proposal number 263, Hive proposal. It passed. From what I understand, if I understand right, it passed over what you guys were looking for, right?
Yes, it is above the required level for being funded. Now we have to maintain those votes in order to receive that funding. The funding would begin in around June 15th and go till December the 15th. So we would have to retain that amount of votes. I think the amount of votes needed does fluctuate, so as long as we retain the amount needed throughout that period of time, then we would continue to receive funding. So it is dependent on us, showing to the community that we are delivering what we have promised that we would, and doing as much as we possibly can to bring as much value to Hive as possible.
Cool. Okay.
So remind us, what is the promise? What is it you guys promised in the proposal, and how long do you expect to have that accomplished?
So one of the main things that we are doing with the proposal is we will be open sourcing Dbuzz. So all of the code that we have written related to anything that we've worked on in conjunction with Dbuzz, that includes lots of things other than Dbuzz, we will be open sourcing. Those funds will also go towards developing version 4 of Dbuzz, which has many amazing new features that we will be integrating into those, such as a MetaMask login. So users, Ethereum users, would be able to create an account with Dbuzz and interact with people on Hive using their MetaMask account. There's a quite extensive list of updates that we have planned for the version 4. And then finally, one of the big things that we will be doing is going all over the Philippines and Southeast Asia and the rest of the world to promote Hive and Dbuzz and speak at events and show why Hive is the superior blockchain. I've been in this space for a long time, and I talked about it. Last time I was on here, we settled with Hive because Hive is the only blockchain that offers a platform that allows people to be able to create content for free and post on chain. All other platforms that I know of that have any substantial amount of users, you have to pay a transaction fee. And with Hive, you use resource credits. And so with resource credits and the wide array of other features that Hive has, makes it, to me, I think that Hive should replace Ethereum and should become, you know, the one of the top blockchains, and just because it solves problems that no other blockchain is solving. It solves problems that Ethereum's not solving. It solves problems that Bitcoin's not solving. Solves problems that lots of other currencies are not
Yeah,
solving.
I think you hit something there that was pretty pivotal. I think in terms of blockchain, is you said it's free. I get a kick out of these claims that some upstart blockchains make that say they're the first free decentralized blockchain, and I'm like, have you guys ever heard of Hive?
Yeah.
There's one named Koinos that claims to be the first free decentralized blockchain that is evolving. And I don't know what they mean by evolving, but I'm thinking, okay, well, Hive has been around a lot longer. The first that I'm aware of that was free was Steemit, and Hive forked off Steemit. So something's wrong here. And I see this about once a month or two. Some blockchain comes up and says the first free decentralized blockchain. No, Hive's got you beat by a long shot.
Exactly. The first social media blockchain comes up every
Yeah,
week
Yeah,
on
and there's,
Twitter.
you know, most of the blockchains that say, "Oh, we offer free transactions," yeah, because you're a centralized, you know, blockchain, which means that you're really just Facebook or Twitter or, you know, a vast majority of other centralized platforms. Because you might have a blockchain, doesn't mean it's decentralized. Um, Hive is decentralized and it offers free transactions, so it checks both boxes.
yeah, and a lot of them that make those claims aren't really blockchains. They're more like distributed ledgers.
Right.
Like you said, they're centralized, and so huge distinction. Anytime someone says they're decentralized, now my guard goes up because I'm like, hold on a minute, let's examine it. Anyways,
Well, you know, I've
back to
even
Google.
spoken on things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. You know, they're decentralized, but to what extent? If you look at the top block producers of Bitcoin, you have a small handful of people who are producing all the blocks for Bitcoin. And they can censor transactions. They can refuse not to include your transaction in those blocks. And so you're just waiting for someone to finally mine a block that will include your transaction. And you know, how long is that going to take? Um, so
Yeah.
there's issues there. And we also see with Ethereum going to the proof of stake system is now that you have massive exchanges and, you know, institutions which hold large amounts of Ethereum now are the primary block producers for Ethereum, and you run into the same issue. I mean,
Yeah.
Hive is really the only blockchain I know of that, you know, we elect in the block producers, the top block producers, and that's, you know, our decentralization. And in 3 seconds, we can vote those people out and replace them if they are doing something that we don't agree with, and the community finds. And we see that even, you know, with the extent of what happened with Justin Sun and Steam takeover and forking to Hive, is that, you know, ultimately we have a decentralized community and we've proven that if some hostile force tries to come in and do something, we have mechanisms in place to handle and deal with that and keep it alive and keep it going, and no one can take that away from us.
Yeah, yeah, those are great points. And because of the way that blocks are produced, even the downstream witnesses, the bottom half of the witnesses still have a chance to get blocks because
Right.
these are rotational.
Yeah.
And the more people that join the blockchain and the more witnesses that come on board, the more decentralized it is.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so that's real cool. So we kind of got off track talking about Dbuzz, but I wanted to make that point. You were talking about free transactions and decentralization, and those are buzzwords that a lot of blockchains are coming up now and saying that they meet those blocks, but Hive has been doing that for a long time. So and actually is decentralized and actually is free. So they're not just making claims.
So, what do we get with this proposal? What did we vote on?
So you will be getting all of the source code to Dbuzz.
Awesome.
All of our current code, along with any future code that we write for the version 4 of Dbuzz. You get a team of dedicated people for the next 6 months who are dedicated to developing the version 4, integrating Ceramic Network and MetaMask into the site, and you get a dedicated team of people who will be going around the world to promote Hive and Dbuzz to like-minded people at events. We already have began, going and speaking at events
Yeah, I see
here in the
that.
Philippines and in Thailand. So we have some pretty big events planned for this coming month. So look for that to be in your feeds soon.
So when you say around the world, you mean you're moving beyond the Philippines and Southeast Asia, and you're actually going to travel the globe and promoting Hive?
Yeah, so if we see opportunities, we don't have, exact places set in stone yet that we will be going to, but I do suspect that I will be visiting or attending. There's an event in Las Vegas in September, I think, that a lot of the Hive community will be at. We talked about going to Splinter Fest. We definitely intend on doing some travel to promote Hive and Dbuzz.
Good. That's great. That's great. That would be awesome. So now you say you're open sourcing the code. What for people that may be listening who are not computer nerds and developers, what does that mean? Does that mean, okay, you're open sourcing the code? Why would somebody want your code?
Yeah, so one of the reasons that someone may be interested would be if they are interested in starting their own Hive community. If they and a lot of what we're wanting to do, and I think I talked about it last time I was on here, is modularizing our app into little pieces. So basically, if you want to build on Hive, we're providing a set of tools for you to be able to do different things on Hive, whether it's the login feature or the news feeds or the trending or being able to upvote or the wallet section or being able to create custom JSON and do custom transactions. We want to provide tools for people to easily be able to integrate these things into their website. And so by us open sourcing all of our code, we make all of the development, all the research, all of the stuff that we've learned over the past 3 years available to anyone. Another reason for doing this is for security audit, to for developers, for security analysis to be done, and find vulnerabilities inside of the code. By open sourcing your code, you make it available to everyone online, and if there's vulnerabilities, it's much easier for people to find those and report those back to you. And then finally, it invites the entire development community to come in and contribute to Dbuzz, because all the time we have people say, hey, these would be great features, if you added or did this to Dbuzz. Okay, great, let's add that to our Trello, and if you want to submit that code, it's open source. You can push that code and help us, develop the platform faster, and then, maybe there's some way that we could reward people for contributing to the code base. And then ultimately, people will fork the code and develop, and all of that, if they leave it open source, there's additional development that could be pulled back into our branch from people who have forked off.
Awesome. Yeah, so, the largest content management system on the planet, WordPress, is open source. And so, what you hit on there is, by open sourcing your code, you allow anyone with the skills to come in and help you develop the product further, as well as audit the code to make sure it's secure and is valuable, allows people to do what you want them to do on the blockchain. And those are two really big deals.
Yes, they are. Very, very big deal.
Yeah, I think that's exciting news. I'm super, super excited to hear that. How many other dApps on the blockchain are open sourced that way?
To be honest, I don't know all of the ones that are open source. From what I understand, I think Essency and Hive are open source. I'm not entirely sure that PeakD is entirely open source. It may be.
I
I don't think
is.
that Leo Threads or Leo Finance. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't actually have all of that. I know that PeakD does provide some open source code, but I'm not sure if the entire platform is open source. It may be. It would be interesting to find that out for sure.
I do believe ThreeSpeak is.
One of the things, because it was there was a chat that was in earlier where it was kind of brought up, that there were other open source platforms. So what sets ours apart from those open source platforms? If we already have Hive dApps that are open source, why is yours any better, or what are you contributing that they maybe not? What makes you unique? So one of the things is that we were written in React.js. So from my understanding, that other Hive dApps are written in other frameworks or languages. React.js is a extremely popular coding framework. It's used by some of the largest apps in the world. Facebook being the largest, is built using React.js, which is super robust JavaScript framework. And like I said, it is definitely, I would say, I with confidence say it has to be one of the most popular, if not the most popular framework in the world right now. So having a Hive dApp that is open source in React.js, I think is of importance for Hive.
Yeah, cool. Good deal. Yeah, I love it. I'm looking at this proposal. There's a section here. It says posting and commenting. And you've got a list of different communities on here: YouTube, CastGarden, ThreeSpeak, Odyssey. Is that a plan to incorporate these into, or incorporate Dbuzz into these platforms? Tell me more about them.
Under that's actually under our past development. So what that's referring to, is that we have integration for all of these platforms. So if you post a link, inside of a buzz to any of these platforms, it actually embeds that content inside of your buzz.
Okay, gotcha. So if I'm on
So that
Library or MC and I share a link from that platform, it will automatically embed that video right there into the post.
yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool. All right, good.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that's really awesome. Because you got some good things on here. Everybody does YouTube. Okay, that's no big
Right.
deal. You know, but you've got some things on here that you don't see too often. You know, Rumble, Library, Odyssey, Vigilante TV. Everybody does SoundCloud, but you know, ThreeSpeak and CashGarden. So these are some of those smaller platforms and communities that you don't see every day, and you guys support that.
And one of the things that we have talked about, integrating and working on exactly how it's going to work. We don't have the fine details of, but someone had mentioned about buzzing to Twitter or posting their tweets on Dbuzz, and then their comments from Twitter, they have to go back to Twitter, to see their comments or to interact with their comments. And we have talked a lot about how to index with where we're using SPK Indexer, which is a project with ThreeSpeak in the SPK network team, to index content from Hive and from various other platforms, to be able to include feeds from other websites and kind of blend that with content from Hive. So on Dbuzz, maybe you have a tweet that you've posted there, actually indexing the comments of that tweet into Dbuzz, where it wouldn't be, those tweets or those comments wouldn't actually be on the Hive blockchain, but on Dbuzz you would still see them. And if you were to comment or interact with those, it somehow both posted that back to Twitter, but also created a reference on Dbuzz to that reply that you made. So instead of having to go back to Twitter to still be able to interact or see the content of comments on your tweets and stuff of that nature, you can still get that on Dbuzz as well.
Ooh.
And it kind of like blends a lot of platforms, because if you can see your YouTube videos and the comments on your YouTube videos and your tweets and the comments on your tweets and so on, then you have one platform that kind of has blended the feeds of many in one, and it's all built on Hive.
Yeah, that would be incredible. You could also incorporate the Fediverse into that. Mastodon and PeerTube and get those
and that's
across.
That's one of our big goals is to be able to blend with other communities, especially crypto communities, or people who are like-minded. That because I think if we were able to reach the broader crypto community and those who are interested in this type of technology outside of Hive, we could expose Hive to a much larger audience than what it currently is.
I totally agree, and you're going in the direction that I've argued in my book Web3 Social, and that is toward a more open social graph on the internet itself, which is how
Yeah.
the internet was originally envisioned. You know, it wasn't envisioned to be a bunch of walled gardens and internet silos. There's going to be an open social graph. And so Web3 is all about getting us back there. And there are some really cool applications coming out. Not all of them are blockchain based or crypto based even. Um, but if you can do that with Dbuzz and interconnect these, Twitter's sort of moving in that direction. You got Blue Sky that is all about doing that. If you can do that with Dbuzz, then you'd be way ahead of the game.
Yeah, and that's the goal. And that is what you are supporting when you vote for a proposal, is to make it possible for us to create these technologies. Because up until this point, for the past 3 years, Dbuzz has been funded by myself and Chris Rice and a team of volunteers who have worked to help, get us to where we are now. And now we're at a position where, for the past 3 years, we have proven our capability. We have shown our dedication to develop this technology, to promote Hive. And now we're asking for support from the community to continue this. And I feel extremely honored that the Hive community has voted for us to receive these proposal funds to be able to carry out this.
Yeah, I think that's great. Big vote of confidence there from the community. You guys got your, proposal passed. Means you're going to get some funding, some future development love there from the community, and I'm anxious to see where that goes.
Okay.
Well, I'm extremely excited about the future, and I can guarantee that me and Chris are dedicated, and we'll do everything in our we're physically capable of to deliver the best that we can for the Hive community.
Awesome.
I'm going to ask the obvious question. How long until version 4?
That's a great question. And that's the developer's worst nightmare to be asked, is like, when.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, so when it's done, of course. So I expect, I will just say this, over the course of development of Dbuzz, we've went through an array of different developers. Originally, it started as kind of a sitting around a coffee table and like, hey, we should build a decentralized social media. And Chris was like, hey, Nathan, like, you're interested in this? Like, what do you think? It's a great idea. Let's do it. Like, here's, $10,000. Let's get a developer and let's see what we can make happen. Right. So we started out with one developer who, over a month or so, delivered very, very little, which is to be expected in a month. We then moved to, I had two senior developers working for me who, within a month, turned over a platform to me that was like bare bones. Like, it works. It's not great. It's not beautiful, but it works. Let's start. Let's do this. Like, let's go.
Senior developers.
So we ran with two developers. I ended up pulling them off of the project and having them work on a separate project, just because this is a passion project. So my core developers have to work on things that make us money.
Absolutely.
And I put two other developers in their place who ran it for about another year, and then we had one developer who came in a little bit later. I ended up pulling those two developers that, the second two developers, I pulled them off and put them on, money-making projects as well, and I just hired one guy who is Ashir, and he's been kind of running and developing it for the past I want to say I guess 1.5 years consistently. Like he's been the main developer, and we've seen a lot of improvements, a lot of features that Ashir's rolled out in the last year and a half. We've major improvements, but what we're going to do with these funds is we're going to bring in 5 new developers. And so we're going to have a team, kind of like a dream team. And we also, I have a team of actual 15 developers that work directly for me. I have office space set up. They come to twice per week. We meet in office and we work on various projects. A lot of these developers are very knowledgeable of blockchain and are high-level coders. But I've kind of been restrained because the projects I work on, I have agreements, and also they're being funded outside. So I have to, those developers have to work on what we're being paid for them to work on. Having additional funds to be able to reallocate developers to work on Dbuzz is going to be a game changer for us, because instead of only having one developer who's working on it, I now can have high-level developers move over from other projects onto Dbuzz and be able to rapidly develop these technologies that we've kind of talked about and plan and do the development that we've kind of set forth in our proposal. So with that being said, it's impossible to say an exact date on when the version 4 would be released.
Oh, you don't have.
But
I'm just being a smart aleck.
with the additional developers and what I've seen over the past 3 years, I feel like that within 6 months we should be able to roll out version 4 of Dbuzz.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be great. 6 months.
And I think it's awesome that you're employing senior developers, because senior citizens need jobs too. So, I'm sorry, I couldn't pass that dad joke. But.
Well, I will tell you that sometimes this type of work will put you there, get you there a little faster.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I see. I'm looking at your list here of benefits, and the open source software part says you're looking at possible long form version of Dbuzz, as well as an NFT marketplace and a DEX.
Yeah, so that's actually part of the version 4 that will go along as well. And we actually have a long form version of Dbuzz. It's not beautiful, but if you go to blog.d.buzz, there's actually a long form version of Dbuzz. We're looking to expand this and do more development on this as well. So we could have not just a short form version of Dbuzz, but also the broader community of Hive and a regular Hive front end built into the blog side of Dbuzz. And then as far as the marketplace, we're looking at doing a decentralized DEX, decentralized exchange. We're working on some technology for being able to do some magic with multi-sig wallets in Bitcoin and Monero and some other currencies to provide a more decentralized trading experience where users don't have to trust a single entity to hold their funds securely while they trade their cryptocurrency. It also would include an NFT marketplace. We're planning on integrating a NFT tab onto the Dbuzz profiles, so you can connect up your wallets that you have your NFTs on, and then you would be able to kind of show those off or showcase those on your Dbuzz profile. And also, people could offer you money to buy your NFTs, or you could post those for sale directly on your profile. Because why do people want NFTs if they can't show them all?
That's right.
Yeah. Um, would that include being able to turn any Hive post into an NFT, or is it taking NFTs off chain and bringing them onto Hive? What would then incorporate?
So it would, I mean, if you wanted to turn a post into an NFT, I mean, by all means, you could, create a reference of that and turn it into an NFT and do that. That's not primarily what our aim is to do. It's more so to take things like Splinterlands and maybe even, we talked about doing the MetaMask integration, OpenSea, and various other NFT marketplaces, and the NFTs that you have in those wallets, and being able to have a feed on your profile that showed those, where you could maybe set one of those as your profile picture, and then also where you could offer like put a bid in on those NFTs, or people could list them directly for sale, and you could buy them directly off of their profile.
Okay, so you're talking about integrating with the Ethereum blockchain and Polygon, some of these other chains that already are doing NFTs.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, cool. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Me too. I'm glad you guys got your funding. There wasn't no doubt in my mind that it was going to get funded. In fact, it went pretty quick, didn't it? When did you guys?
Yeah, we received funding within 1 week of posting the proposal. We received the threshold needed. It's something that me and Chris have been working on. I think we started writing that proposal a year ago, and the thing was, I told Chris, I just don't feel right going and asking for money without proving myself first. So let's prove ourselves. Let's show what we're capable of, and let's show the value that we're going to bring to Hive before we go and promise that we're going to do this. Like, let's actually go and do it and prove ourselves, and then we'll ask for the proposal, because I wouldn't want to vote for someone to do something that they haven't proved. So why would I ask someone to vote for me when I haven't proved myself? So I feel like, over the past 3 years, we've shown our dedication. We've shown what we're capable of. And recently, we started going and doing these events, and we've shown, our ability to go and speak at these events and be ambassadors of the Hive brand and promote Dbuzz and Hive at these events.
Yeah, you guys, you guys post some pictures. It's like, dude, I wish they were over here doing that.
One day, maybe our team would be able to handle all corners of the earth, but right now we're a little bit constrained to what we're and by this high proposal being funded, it will open up the door to what we're able to go and do now.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you got to start where you're at. So yeah, you guys done great work, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else you produce.
I've enjoyed Dbuzz over the last 3 years, even though I haven't used it as much as I probably should have. But I've started to love it more and more, and I hate Twitter more and more. But
well, I don't know if you've seen, we rolled out a new update last week, which was one of the probably most obvious updates that we've done to date, where there was massive improvement on the visual layout of Dbuzz. You'll see that the pictures are much nicer like they're framed much nicer in the feeds.
Yes, they are.
You'll see the feeds look much cleaner than they used to be. I'd sit down and just drew it out on paper exactly like it should look like this. Like make it look like this, and this fonts, this spacing, like do it like this. And so we rolled out this new update, and to me this is the cleanest version of Dbuzz to date. And you'll notice that if you post multiple pictures, used to they all were like kind of stacked on top of each other, and it didn't look great. Now we have them actually framed where they go together, and looks much cleaner.
Yeah, I'm looking at a post from philnews.xyz right now, and it's got Toaster on one side and another picture next to it, and it's just perfect.
Cool. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on, man, and talking to us about
y'all. I appreciate y'all having me on, and I hope y'all find the platform useful, and if you have any criticism of it, let me know. I'm always all ears. If people have issue with the way we're doing things, or want to see features, or like what we're doing or don't like what we're doing, we're all ears. We love hearing feedback from the community, because that helps us know that we're going in the right direction. Because it's impossible to know exactly what's the right direction that the community wants you to go in without getting that feedback directly from the people who are directly participating.
Exactly.
So love coming on and talking to you guys, and hearing your thoughts, and I'm always available. Me and Chris make ourselves available, and so if you have anything that you want to discuss, or questions or criticism or ideas, love to hear it. That goes for anybody that's listening as well.
I definitely appreciate it. I use it every day, every morning for my daily dad joke.
Well, I sure appreciate you interacting there and helping grow the Dbuzz and Hive community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm starting to use it a little more now too. I didn't use it much before you guys started coming on the show, but now I'm starting to use it a little bit more. I use it probably not every day, but I use it multiple times a week, and I like it. It's easy to use. It's very easy to use, and I don't have to jump through any hoops. So I really like how it works.
Well, that's been one of our big focuses, trying to make it as intuitive as possible. We want it to be grandma proof, where anybody's grandma can come on here and make an account and use it. And if it's not that easy, then we got to work on it more to make it easier. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, you're doing a good job.
Very cool. Well, I think we're going to end it there. I lost track of time, so I don't know how long it's going to be. You guys can find out more about Nathanson and Chris Rice, who didn't say anything. He just lurked in the background. Probably fell asleep. It is like 12 hours difference. So.
Yeah, I think Chris has been awake for quite a while. It's my days usually end at about this time, because I'm always up all night working. And Chris has a little bit more normal schedule. I always tell people I see the sun coming up, so I need to go hide from the sun like the vampire I am.
There you go. You guys can go find out Dbuzz at d.buzz, and check out next.dbuzz, which we didn't talk about, which is like the beta versions, and it's really cool. Is there like any other contact other than just your Hive accounts?
You can find me on Discord. Pretty easy to find on there. You can find me in most of the Hive communities, so you can message me on Discord. I am on Twitter as well. My username on Twitter, because apparently someone else stole my username on Twitter a long time ago, but it's Nathan_Sin. So you just have to put an underscore in between my name, and you can find me on Twitter. And if you search for me, I'm sure you'll find me on LinkedIn as well. So yeah,
Cool.
I'm sure if you look for me, you'll be able to find me.
Cool. And everybody else can find, where to find Alan and I at Hive and Twitter. And email the podcast at podcast@dfluence.online. And with that, I'm going to hit the outro if I can find the button.
Find the button.